Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Balaji Srinivasan says that he's not backing down from his tremendously bold claim that Bitcoin will be hitting $1 million on the back of a U.S. economic crisis. For those of you who missed it, this guy came out and basically announced that not that he has inside information, but he thinks that the way that the economy is currently moving and the way that the U.S. debt crisis continues to roll on, as we just also had information that they're going to be trying to raise the debt ceiling, will actually cause the U.S. to default, the U.S. dollar to collapse. People look for a safe haven, and that safe haven would then therefore be Bitcoin. While people are buying up all the Bitcoin, other countries are also buying it. The price begins to rise. Bitcoin goes to $1 million per coin. The kicker here is that he says that this will all be happening. He said previously that this would all be happening over the course of a 90-day period. That is 90. He said that roughly around a month ago. This made gigantic headlines because people were like, what? How's that supposed to happen? The idea of a $1 million Bitcoin, for those of you who don't know, means that we have seen total economic collapse. Like, the world has basically crumbled around us. The US dollar, you can, use $1 trillion of them to build a house, and the house will only be worth $15. And people are looking for some other type of way to make and or hold or store money or store value. And they would therefore choose Bitcoin. In March, the former Coinbase executive placed a bet that Bitcoin would reach $1 million within 3 months, largely due to failing banks and to hyperinflation. Yeah, he was like, this is it. Get ready. In 90 days, the whole world's going to collapse. He previously said that bank runs would happen much faster today, considering we're living in a digital world. He said, I think we see an exit from the U.S. banking system towards Bitcoin over the next weeks and months and perhaps years to come. The exact timeline of 90 days, I don't think it's impossible that happens given how fast digital bank runs happen. Good English. But directionally, it's much easier. Timing is hard, prepping is easy. While many have interpreted his idea as more of a statement or publicity stunt, no, I think he actually meant this. If you've ever been around a large amount of people who have large amounts of money, and you hear some of the stuff that they say, I think sometimes people actually believe these really weird things. You have people like Muskie who say things more for the attention. No, a lot of these people, remember a couple years ago when somebody was like, it was something along the lines of like, Bitcoin's going to $500,000 this summer because this is happening. And I was like, okay, well, it's at like 16,000 right now, so I'm not exactly sure how it's going to get there. Anyway, this guy has popped up into the news once again. We're at that pivotal point in the cryptocurrency space where everyone is just throwing out random numbers, trying to see what sticks. The idea normally is if you throw out enough weird random numbers, at some point someone's going to be correct in their assumption. Like, one of the reasons why Mike Novogratz got so popular is because in 2017, I'm pretty sure that was it, he said that Bitcoin was going to hit $10,000 a coin. Now, at the start of the year, Bitcoin was like 800 or 900, and everyone's like, wow, this guy's crazy. It went to 10,000, and now he's, meant to be a genius. So if you throw out a number and it ends up sticking, you become really popular. This is why you see like a lot of, and I air quote here, cryptocurrency price analysts on YouTube saying like, we're going to go here. This is going to happen. And you've noticed that some of the ones you were watching before, you no longer watch. But the other ones that you're still watching is because they got about 2 or 3 things correct because they were bound to do. Anyway, that's the Balaji believes that we are still that we are going to hit a $1 million Bitcoin. I guess that gives them about, what is that, 40 days left? If the world, I mean, the last 3 years have been kind of rough. So if the world did collapse in 40 days, I don't think I would be that shocked about it. But, anyway, that's the Bitcoin still going to $1 million news. I mean, sure, why not at this point? And yeah, let's move on. Also that's a weird photo. Also in the news, Poloniex, a well-established, okay, sure, why not, player in the cryptocurrency exchange space, has come under scrutiny for violating multiple sanction programs and has reached a settlement with the United States Treasury Department Office of Foreign Asset Control, or OFAC. The apparent violation of multiple sanctions could be traced back to, here we go, traced back to January 2014. Yeah, because, when Poloniex registered then and operated an online trading and settlement platform. Recent reports from the Department of Treasury state that Poloniex is settling 65,942 apparent violations. 65,000 violations? Okay. Across multiple sanctions programs. According to a recent update, the Treasury released a detailed enforcement of the settlement between Poloniex and OFAC. Poloniex was required to pay $7.5 million as settlement for its apparent violations of U.S. multiple sanction programs when it started trading in January of 2014. The idea is and has been, and this is another reason why I think the U.S. does not have actual cryptocurrency regulations, is because the regulators, they find stuff, wink, that you did years ago, and they say, hey, there's a problem, you did something illegal, therefore now pay us. Because if you tell the people, if you tell the cryptocurrency exchange when immediately that they're doing something wrong, well, then the U.S. doesn't make $7.6 million. You have to wait until people do something wrong over and over again, and you get them in trouble, then that's how you make the big money. So one of the issues currently happening right now is that not only are a number of cryptocurrency exchanges getting in trouble for stuff that they did a long time ago, a lot of the stuff that they're getting in trouble for is the allegations that they were helping people to launder money. So, and this is something, it's not even like a black and white issue. It's not even gray. It's more like a weird rainbow color that has like 80 colors inside of it. Because the idea is you start a business. You allow people to move money back and forth through cryptocurrencies. People are moving money back and forth through cryptocurrencies. You may have KYC, AML. They may have given you the information as to who they were, what they were doing, and where the money was actually going. But at a certain point, you kind of lose control over it because you may have all their information, but you don't know if they gave you fake information or whatever the case might have been. So if these people happen to be in a country that was currently or is under sanctions by the United States, and someone in that country used a VPN and gave you fake information or fake identity, whatever, and then traded money within that country that is under sanctions to another country that's under sanctions, you as Poloniex or another cryptocurrency exchange were in essence supposed to know that someone had lied to you and therefore was using the money for illicit purposes. And this is why we're getting so many pieces of news right now over the course of the last couple of weeks that a lot of crypto exchanges have done something wrong because they were allowing people from other jurisdictions around the world who just happen to use their website and were moving money around, but therefore Coinbase and Kraken and Poloniex and et cetera, should have known that something was wrong when that country from that other person and the so and the fake ID. You get the idea. It's all very nonsensical. And whenever I see news that something January 2014, that means that in essence, I would assume back in 2015, 2016, 2017, OFAC was probably looking into them as well and didn't want to tell them because they wanted millions of dollars. Because if you fix a mistake early, then there's no problem. But if you can say, oh, these crypto exchanges are running wild, it's really terrible and it'll never end. That's kind of the problem. There's a reason why we don't hear news like this from other countries. Think about that. How many times have we heard these problems from the UK, from France, from Germany, from South Africa, from Italy, from Brazil, South Korea, Japan? If you have proper cryptocurrency regulations, things like this don't happen. If regulators regulate it immediately, that's why, for those of you who weren't here in 2017, one of the craziest things was, just to, last point, then we'll move on. One of the craziest things was that back in 2017, in 2018, Japanese regulators, they were scrutinizing everything that was happening at every single step. And they noticed that things were amiss, were wrong, something wasn't incorrect. And they were shutting down crypto exchanges and any activity that was happening immediately to kind of keep the market continuing to go, but while getting rid of anything that might have seemed like a violation. Why not do it immediately? Anyway, that's the United States Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Asset Control, OFAC, has ordered Kraken to pay $7.6 million for something that they allegedly started doing wrong back in January of you know how much the world has changed since 2020. Nonetheless, 2017 since January 2014. Anyway, that's going to continue happening news until there's proper regulation and corruption doesn't exist anymore. News. And yeah, let's move on. Also in the news, on-chain data from Santiment shows that Ethereum shark and whale addresses have registered a growth of 5.7% over the past year. According to data from the on-chain analytics firm Santiment, there are now around 380 more sharks and whales in the market compared to 12 months ago. I don't have the chart here, and I'm not going to find it. All these animals that people keep using, back in my day, in the long ago, you had bears. What was the other one? Bears and what's the other animal? Bears and sharks. What's the bear always fighting? The lion? Bears and bulls. There we go. Bears and bulls, and you had whales. And at some point in the cryptocurrency space, someone was like, wait, but there's not just whales in the ocean. And then there were sharks, hammerhead sharks. There are like guppies. There are all these they're like hundreds of different levels of how many coins you have, and the waters are quite muddied. Not to make a joke there, but it's like, okay, just keep adding more animals, and we'll just keep talking about them. The relevant indicator here is the ETH supply distribution, which tells us about the total amount of Ethereum that each wallet group in the sector is currently holding. Addresses are divided into these wallet groups based on the number of coins they are carrying in their balances right now. And there's a little chart roughly around here. The news basically being that people who weren't holding a lot of Ether before are now holding more Ether than they previously were in the past. We're also at a record high for non-zero addresses. That is wallets that have been created that have more than a zero balance, and they call it non-zero as opposed to simply saying they have coins in their wallet, because I think it sounds fancy. And the amount of wallets holding currently 1,000 plus Ethereum has also continued to rise as well. So I guess the news is here that since last year, when I was screaming into the microphone telling everybody that whales were buying up the coins, and I guess now also subsequently sharks. I don't know how sharks are the next big thing there, but that's the word that they're using. Have been buying up more coins. Because remember, I was telling you every single time that there is bad news or disastrous news or scary news, the day after, we always got like whales were buying. Hey, oh my gosh, it's so scary. Let me sell off my coins. Wait, my coins were bought by someone, and it's by the same exact gigantic addresses that we've seen before. News. That's the number of people buying up crypto while the prices are low, because people are still expecting a $10,000 Ethereum and I guess also $1 million Bitcoin. News. Whoa, I'm so shocked at this news. How does this continue to happen every single time over the course of the last 14 years? I am flabbergasted. Okay, let's move on. Also in the news, and I don't get how this What? Like, I don't. Okay. Amidst the allegations against Do Kwon, the co-founder of Terraform Labs, a recent report by the Korean Sunday News has revealed that the Seoul Southern District Court has ruled in favor of Luna, now renamed Luna Classic, by stating that it is not a financial investment product. Despite the recent enforcement action by the US SEC against Kwon, the South Korean court has determined that Luna Classic is not a security, further clarifying its position in the matter. In a recent ruling, the Seoul Southern District Court noted that it finds it challenging to perceive Luna Classic as a financial investment product regulated by the Capital Markets Act. The court further explained that the South Korean officials from the Seoul prosecutor's office cannot seize Terra's co-founder Daniel Shin's cryptocurrency assets. These findings may come as a relief to Kwon, who is currently in custody in Montenegro after being charged by the SEC with multi-billion-dollar fraud in mid-February. Why is it always the... How can the SEC have an arm that reaches that far? That it says you on the other side of the world did something wrong. That you... Anyway, the news is, and was, I guess, that apparently this court has deemed Luna Classic or Terra Luna itself not to be a security. The idea of a security is that people bought something with the expectation of profit from the workings of or the job done by the actual company, i.e. the people from Terra would have had to have done a good job in order for the coin's price to actually rise. And they did not deem this so. And therefore, in South Korea, it is not a security. But how do I say this so we can actually move on? The only people on the planet who continue to have a problem with cryptocurrencies and or deem that everything is a security and therefore falls under their jurisdiction is the US SEC. Every other country, for those of you who don't know, there are many, you can look this up as well. I don't have it on the screen. There are many different countries who actually consider cryptocurrencies like a form of currency and property. There's no discussion in nearly every other country if it is a security or a commodity. It may not be legal tender, i.e. in South Korea, we use the won. I want to say won. Maybe it's because I'm looking at the word do kwon. I don't remember. You know, we use this currency. Therefore, any other currency is not legal tender. However, there are other currencies that exist, and therefore, Bitcoin, Ethereum, blah, 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 they are also currencies, but not legal tender. There's no discussion as to if it's just what's trying not to get myself riled up. It's just within the US, and so cool. Relatively popular news. It has no actual standing or bearing on anything else around the world because people only care about what the US SEC says. I think as a planet, we would probably be so much further ahead, even as a cryptocurrency industry, if people just didn't look to the US for advice. Like explicitly. Imagine if we went by the rules of what they're doing in Europe or in Asia. Imagine if everyone had already, imagine if we got news that Japan, South Korea, Germany, France, and the UK had cryptocurrency regulation, and that was all that the world needed. Instead of waiting for the SEC. Oh, the SEC still, even further, still hasn't given and will not give a Bitcoin ETF. Like, what obscene levels of corruption? So anyway, this news came out. It should be significant because another country has realized, despite the actions of Do Kwon, the coin is not tied to him because the network is meant to be decentralized and therefore run on its own. So yeah, that's the South Korean ruling news. If only logic worked, but it doesn't. Yeah, all right. Let's move on. Also in news, the XRP Ledger grants program has launched its sixth wave, providing an exciting opportunity for developers to create innovative financial projects on the XRP Ledger. The focus of Wave 6 is on projects that address financial inequities, streamline traditional financial processes, and provide new use cases for the XRP Ledger. For those of you, and I mean, maybe some of you know, maybe if you've seen other videos or if you are simply into the Ripple XRP space, a number of years ago, a number of monies were put aside for the expansion of the XRP blockchain, in that Ripple themselves did not want to launch or build things themselves on the blockchain. What other companies tend to do, what other blockchains tend to do, this is the Ethereums, the Bitcoins, yada, yada. You kind of create a grant or a fund that basically will allow other companies to come forward and say, hey, we're interested in building on your blockchain. Can we have some money? It sounds stupid, but that's basically how it is. And other companies then come forward and basically take the money from the pot and say, we are exclusively going to be building on top of your blockchain alone. So this is the XRP Ledger grants program, and now they're on the sixth wave of basically giving money to people who are going to be using it to further decentralize the protocol and also to build other use cases. You know, the idea of it just being used as a way to send money back and forth is cool, but when we realize that there are, you know, potentially trillions of other use cases for blockchains, then, you know, please find them and build them. The program is open to developers worldwide, and applications will be accepted until the 18th of June this year. Here's a little tweet forward right here. It says, big news for developers building innovative Web3 financial projects. Applications for the XRP Ledger Grant Wave 6 are now open. Apply now and come build on the XRP Ledger. So cool. Awesome. Not the most exciting news in the entire world, but it's good to see that they still have enough money to be able to do so. I don't know, you know. If we had heard about this once back in 2018, we would have gone, oh, that's sad. But apparently they're still building stuff. I cannot explicitly tell you what is being built, as I do not usually dive that deep anymore into projects and what's being built on them, because there's always like 940 things, and then everyone on Twitter screaming at me that I don't know what this coin's prospect is tied to the other one and this other layer project. So cool, wonderful. Hope they continue and make good things that people will actually want to use, because, you know, a lot of those things are lacking in the space right now. And yeah. Let's move on. Also in the news, that's a weird photo. Luxury auction house Sotheby's has announced the addition of a new on-chain marketplace that allows digital art collectors to purchase secondary NFTs. While many pre-existing NFT marketplaces already host peer-to-peer sales of digital artworks, the auction house is attempting to separate itself by offering a rotating, curated selection of leading artists handpicked by Sotheby specialists. Here's a tweet for it right here. Sotheby's and, was it Christie's? I think it was Christie's as well. They're the two largest auction houses on the planet. There's also Bottoms and Phillips, but no one really talks about them as much. Anyway, the idea is that they have realized many years ago that cryptocurrencies were going to be quite big, and they began to announce that you could use Bitcoin and Ethereum to be able to purchase artwork. By the time we got to 2021, and NFTs became really big, I believe it was Sotheby's and Christie's. They came forward and announced that they would be getting into the NFT space as well, and one of them had Beeple, and you know, that whole entire gigantic amount story for the NFT market. And now the next step is that they're basically going to be opening up a marketplace to kind of rival OpenSea and Blur. I think it's called Blur. I'm pretty sure it's called Blur. Because when you as Sotheby's and Christie's are into the cryptocurrency NFT space and you see that there are other marketplaces who are making the money that you could be making, of course, you're going to try and create something that could essentially rival what they're also offering. It says all NFT sales on the Sotheby's Metaverse platform occur by way of smart contracts that allow digital art collectors to pay for their art and collectibles with the choice of Ether and or Polygon. That's very important to state. You have to, when you talk about the longevity of certain projects And I told you all this before as well. Like, if you hear me talking about coins more often, or even if you see on my other channel where I'm talking about like what I'm bullish on or what I'm currently buying and me personally myself, you've heard me talk about Polygon. Like, there's a very specific like trend shift that continues to happen in many different places, especially when you hear that larger companies are into crypto, getting into crypto, or what they're allowing as a payment method. Think of all the coins that we have out there. Why do they just choose Ether and Polygon? Why is every other country just choosing Ether and Polygon? I try to myself. I know a lot of people are into these quick get rich fast coins, but I myself, for my portfolio, I tend to acquire and look at the coins that actually have a potential long-term use case and or are being adopted by Sotheby's. Sotheby's also noted it would honor artist royalties through smart contracts on the secondary sales platform and will automatically pay artists accordingly to their royalty rate they choose to select. I know that sounds nonsensical, but recently a lot of NFT platforms have announced that they're no longer giving royalties to their creators, which is nonsense. One of the reasons why NFTs became so popular in general was because, the general idea is that if you create an artwork in 1984 and you sell it back in 1992, it gets sold again in 1998, 2005, 2016, 2022, you as the original artist, you've made no money off the thing that you sold for 300 that's now selling for 27 million. So the idea is that if you buy something from an artist who later on becomes really popular, they should, and I agree with this, logically get a portion of the thing, like of the money from the thing that they created that's continuing to resell. Maybe that's, maybe I think differently about art and royalties and all that other stuff, but that's another conversation in and of itself. So they announced that, Sotheby's, that artists would receive royalties, that they would continue to get the money that every other artist should also be getting from the NFTs that are being sold and or resold. So we'll see how this works. I see no launch date for this, but I assume they're going to try and have a huge announcement with a whole bunch of like mega artists who are going to be doing this as well. So cool, wonderful, fantastic. Hope it works out. I assume they're going to get big names and make tons of money. Just a matter of historically, we've seen that platforms that do not allow normal people to do stuff on them tend to kind of falter. But I think Sotheby's is large enough to be able to, make sure that they're going to be making lots of money. Anyway, that's the Sotheby's news. All right. Let's move on. Also in never-ending story news as well, the Hong Kong Securities Futures Commission, usually considered to be their SEC, is reportedly set to release cryptocurrency exchange licensing guidelines next month. Not next year, not in 2028, not in the year 2038 as well. Next month. The plans were reported by Bloomberg on the 27th of April, which cited comments from the SFC's CEO, Yulia Liang. The incoming guidelines will provide support to crypto trading platforms that will... It's not funny. In January, Hong Kong announced that they were planning on being the spot for people around the world to go to deal in crypto, to make new businesses, you name it, Hong Kong was going to be the spot. By February, we got news that they were drafting all these other things to make sure that they had proper guidelines and rules and regulations in order. They announced a couple days ago that they're going to actually release this next month. Now understand, that is January, February, March, April, May, June, subsequently, June, 6 months, that it took this entire country to announce not only were they getting into crypto, but here's proper cryptocurrency regulations for cryptocurrency exchanges. I wonder where else that could work. I wonder, is there another place that could have done this over the course of a 6-month period? No, that just sounds crazy. The incoming guidelines will provide support to crypto trading platforms that will be able to offer trading services to retail investors, that's us, on the 1st of June. Liang said the consultation process of the licensing regime received over 150 responses from interested parties, according to Bloomberg. Anti-money laundering and know your customer requirement regulations, okay, were part of the key considerations made in the 20th of February report that Leung was presumably referring to. Here's a little tweet right here of all the stuff we were just talking about. So the news is, remember, I was skeptical. I was a skeptic. I said in February, I said, okay, cool. We've heard this a lot of times before from other places around the world. They're talking about having regulations. You know, we'll see when it actually happens. As it stands right now, in less than 30 days, Hong Kong will have not only cryptocurrency regulation, but all their cryptocurrency exchanges will know exactly what they need to do. I wonder why that doesn't. Weird, right? So, yeah, for those of you who also missed the news over the course of the last couple of days as well, there are a lot of places around so companies are moving or companies have said that they are going to move from the US. I don't think that they're going to do it, but a lot of them have been making other companies in other countries as well. And I give it to the end of this year, the middle of next year. If there isn't a mass exodus from the US, from all these companies, I think I would actually be shocked. It takes a lot to shock me. A lot. I think I would be shocked because everywhere else in the world has now secured their position for a digital cryptocurrency future. And we can all thank Gary Gensler and the SEC for not giving any cryptocurrency regulations over the course, and not even 14 years, 7 years. And Hong Kong did it, what is that? 4, 8, 12, 16, in around 20 weeks. That's the Hong Kong June 1st cryptocurrency exchanges launching, and they will have proper regulation news. That is a shame. For not for them, but you understand what I'm saying. Okay. Let's move on. Yeah. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I hope you all got something out of the video. I hope you understand that the world is absolutely ridiculous. And I hope that the SEC at some point gets it together. But I don't think they're going to. If you saw that what is it called? The thing that Gary Gensler went to where he was being spoken to, I think it was Congress. There's no crypto regulations coming anytime soon, like at all. So that's going to be fun. Thank you all once again. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.